This is Nala. She's the eldest of the two lionesses. We reckon she's around 15 years old. She's still giving cause for concern.
Here in the hospital camp, the Born Free care team are able to keep a close eye on Nala's health.
I'm just a bit worried because she's staying in this really small part of the enclosure.
Yeah.
And with the sun out like it is today, she can see she's getting
eh?
so hot and panting.
Very, very hard, eh?
I'm thinking if we feed in the direction of where the shade is and the
yeah,
shelter,
where the shelter is.
she's going to have to go to that area to get her food. Then she might pick up where the shelter is and the shade and hopefully go and
Shall we try that?
I think so.
Yeah. I promise you, she's going to surprise us and just carry this whole. Come on, girl.
Come on, girl.
You can see
She's picked up the scent.
Good girl.
Good girl. Yeah, so this is going to be great for her. She eats this whole portion.
Oh, look at it.
Yeah.
Nala may well have picked up the scent of the meat, but it soon becomes clear to the care team that she hasn't even got the strength to eat.
I think at some stage, when it's cooler, we'll have to get the vet in. And then from there, we can assess the situation and take it further. But just the idea of her just staying in this section where there's no trees, lying in the sun, it's just not good for her. Okay, I'm going to feed Junka right by the gate, and hopefully as soon as I open the gate, they'll come into this area, and maybe they'll start to bond.
Yeah.
Junka! Come on, boy! He still has to get used to my voice, though. As soon as he masters that, as soon as I talk, he'll just come out. Where is he?
He's in the shade of this tree.
If he wants to stay there, I'll let him stay there. I think let's leave the meat here and leave the gate open so that if he wants to go in with Nala, he can go in with Nala. So we're not going to rush anything. We'll just see how things go. Okay, I'm about to feed Shada. She's just hiding behind this kraal spike thorn bush here. So what we're going to do now, we're just going to throw the meat over the fence for her. Gonna take her time before she gets used to us in the vehicle now when it comes to feed her. So what I suggest is that let's leave her for a while, and maybe as soon as we move away with the vehicle and all, she'll come out and get her food.
Worried about her condition, Shamwari vet Johan makes a trip out to the hospital camp to see Nala.
Hi, Jan.
Yes, but she's not eating.
She's round the corner now. She's found herself a little bit of a patch of shade now.
Okay, the first problem is we're not too keen to dart the animal when it's hot. And obviously when it's sick, you know, it's not the best thing to do. But we cannot leave it if she doesn't improve. But I think what we must do is, we must leave the gates open, leave the food. And then if she's not through first thing in the morning, when it's cool, I think we must consider then to anesthetize her and do a proper examination.
Okay.
Later that evening, Claire took me to the second Born Free sanctuary on the southern side of the game reserve. It's important to check the animals every day, but also the fences that surround them.
Every morning and in the evenings as well, one of our Born Free staff will come around the fences, and we basically just check for any damage that might have occurred throughout the night or during the day. We don't want obviously holes appearing or anything like that.
No.
The main thing that we actually do is check the electricity, and we have these electric strands going right up it. And that's basically just to give us a bit of protection when it comes to the cats here. Okay. This is just a power probe that we use, and you can basically put it onto the electric strand, just press there, and then it just gives us a reading of the fence. And we can see there's no faults there. The top bit just shows you if there is a fault, which direction it's in. And this we do every morning and every evening. But we can see there's no fault here.
There's no fault. And I know that you absolutely have to treat every animal with caution, but you do want to put your hand and just go, hello, baby.
I know. These three,
hello.
They're actually interested in us, and that comes from the fact that they were hand-raised for so long, pretty much all their lives. And that's the big issue that we faced when we first rescued them and then looked at, releasing them back into the wild. You can see with behaviour like this, it's just not possible.
No, because you probably have to go to the local supermarket and make them a three-course dinner, don't you?
Exactly.
They're not going to go and hunt anything.
Not at all. Not at all. But they are very cute.
Yeah, they are so cute.
It's 6 o'clock the following morning, and the team meet at Nala's enclosure. Her food remains untouched, and she's showing no signs of improvement. Vet Johan has no option but to sedate her in order to carry out further tests.
Is she getting a normal dose, Johan?
No. This is now 2/3 of the dose. And it's still a risk, eh? It's definitely still a risk, but we have to get her sleep to work with her. I think it's a chronic kidney disease. You can see she's getting dehydrated, and the fact that she went skinny so quickly, you know, she's obviously losing more liquid that she's taking in. I think that is the problem, but we'll have to confirm and see.
Even though she is sick, Nala could still prove a danger to the staff, who have to wait for the anaesthetic to take effect. Johan gets his first real glimpse of just how poorly Nala is.
If we pinch the skin like that, it's not going down at all. That's a sign of a quite serious dehydration. Okay. The most obvious symptom is that she's very dehydrated. So we're just giving supportive treatment now, putting her on a drip. We have to give anesthetic to be able to do that. Normally to give a healthy line anesthetic is no risk whatsoever. The drugs that we use is very safe. In this case, obviously a sick animal, if you anesthetize a sick animal, it's a bit of a problem. And what makes it more difficult, if you would anesthetize a normal patient, a human or a domestic animal, you would give sort of the first half of the anesthetic quickly, and then the rest of the dosage you give according to the symptoms. In a wild animal, you give the full dosage straight away.
Johan did give Nala a lower dosage than normal, and it worked really well. But as with all anaesthetics, there can be complications.
She must be able to metabolize the anesthetic to excrete it eventually. And with a chronic kidney disease or a liver disease or whatever, it might not be all that effective. And that the animal just slowly go down and stop breathing or whatever, the heartbeat might stop. It is an old animal. But the other problem that we might have here is that something just gives in, like you might get a complete renal failure or whatever.
It's 2+ protein in the blood, pretty much.
Okay.
I was 10-20.
In the kidney infections, normally two types. The one is acute kidney infection, where the kidneys get swollen, very little urine is passed, and the animal either recover from that or they die. If you don't get it right, it's gone. Then we get in older animals a chronic kidney infection, where the kidneys normally get small and shrunken. They pass very diluted urine. Like in this case, the SG is very low in the urine. But there's a lot of other things wrong there as well. But it seems like a chronic kidney infection, passing a lot of urine, that's the reason why you get dehydrated. You want 2 each, eh?
There's no time to waste. Blood samples are sent off to the city for immediate testing.
I think on the long term, it's most probably not looking too positive. But we'll see. We have to keep asleep to give the drips, and we can unfortunately only give so much over a certain period of time. And then we'll release her in the other born-free centre now, the southern centre, where the accommodation might be a bit better, a bit more shade. There's a bigger enclosure that she can go in, can recover. In case we get rain, there's an enclosure that she might use a little bit better than the previous one.
It's not looking good for poor little Nala. The vets are worried that she might not even wake up from the anaesthetic. Glenn is with her and won't leave her side till she does. He's grown really attached to her since she's been here.
It's not looking good. Not that I'm negative, but we've given her already about 8 drips. Very dehydrated. Her kidneys are not looking really well from the test that we've done. And she's been here for about 5 days, 6 days with us. And we might lose her.
It just seems so unfair that she's had such a miserable life, and then this is her chance to have a good life and be where she's supposed to be back here in Africa. And you know, the thought that it might be a little bit too late that the chance came is just, you know, it's quite hard to kind of to deal with, and you just want to see her have at least some time here and just a little bit of a good end to her life.
You get attached to the animals and you just get to know it, and suddenly you have to let go again. That's not easy on us, because we treat them as individuals, and if she goes, man, it's just not acceptable from my side. It's a selfish decision. It's a selfish one. We'll see.
It's often emotionally difficult for Glenn and Claire when an animal is sick, but they have to divide their time between caring for Nala and making sure the other lion's rehabilitation is going well. It's time for the second phase of rehoming, and Glenn is trying to entice Junker into a larger enclosure, where he also hopes to introduce younger lioness Shada. So far, all 3 lions have been kept in their own camps. It's no easy task. Years of control exercised by the circus has taught Junker to be careful about straying too far over barred boundaries. At last, Junker moves on, and Glenn can set about the next stage of the reunion. First, a tasty distraction.
Good boy. What we're going to do now, we're just going to move the vehicle around to where Shada's hospital camp is. And then we're going to try to give her something. But her food, we're not going to put it in her hospital camp. We'll try to put it onto Junker's side. Hopefully she'll come through. So I'm just using these small chunks of meat to get her to that gate. She is hungry, so it might work. Shada! Shada! Okay, the male lion is approaching now.
When Shada sees him for the first time in almost a week, she decides to lie low in her wooden shelter.
It's just sitting under that shelter. It's going to take a while before we can get her out of there now.
Wondering what all the fuss is about, Junker goes for an afternoon nap.
We're just going to sit here for a while. Maybe she'll relax a little bit, because she's quite under stress at this stage now. So her well-being comes first. So we're just going to wait here for a while and see what happens.
It's a tense time for everyone, but the waiting game for Nala will soon be over, as Johan has news for Claire.
We got the results of the blood test now, and it's not looking good.
Right.